Yes, people, welcome back to another video on Never a Foul. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, because Chelsea have done it again. Chelsea have done it again. Another transfer window, another signing, more millions spent to improve the squad and give Maresca ultimately what he needs in the final third. That's what Chelsea fans are hoping, and that's what the Chelsea board will be hoping, because it's been obviously confirmed that they have agreed a deal with Joao Pedro from Brighton, 23 years of age, £50 million upwards, maybe with additional add-ons or anything if he's successful, goals, appearances, all of that. But Joao Pedro, the Brazilian international, is going to be a Chelsea player come the start of the season. Now, boy, you've got Arsenal looking for an attacker. They want a striker. Manchester United wanting a striker, looking for an attacker. Newcastle wanting an attacker, looking for a striker. Chelsea want attackers. They get attackers. Chelsea want a player. A few days later, the deal is done. Chelsea do not miss. Chelsea do not miss. And the only way they miss is if they don't agree on the fee with the club because they think they're being outpriced. Mike Mannion, the perfect example, the AC Milan goalkeeper, they wanted him. And they said, we're only going to pay this. If you ain't going to accept it, cool, we'll walk away. But Chelsea always get the deal done when it's balanced in the middle or if they've got the perfect fee. They'll always walk away with what they want. That's what I kind of feel with Chelsea most of the time. And this is me talking off the dome. I know there's certain players that they might not have got. It happens. It's football. But Chelsea, normally, if they want a player, they'll go and get that player. Liam Delap is a player that was linked to Manchester United, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, and other clubs. Chelsea come in, Chelsea get the deal done. Joao Pedro, and again, linked to Forest, linked to Newcastle. Newcastle made a bid, rejected, couldn't quite agree a fee. Chelsea come in, a couple of days later, deal done. And they are getting a player, by the way. Let's not get it twisted and start doing this Joao Pedro isn't good at football type of talk. Joao Pedro is a good footballer. Technically, he is naturally gifted. Intelligently, he has a high IQ. He knows where to be. He knows how to pick up pockets. He knows, the right positions, the right passes to make. He's a very good forward-thinking player. And I think Maresca actually would have wanted him. I think Maresca's seen enough of Joao Pedro to say, yeah, that's the type of player I want. Especially when you look at the way Maresca likes to play his football. The midfielders like to be technical. They like to get on the ball, give and goals, 1-2s, finding themselves in the little pockets and stuff like that. And Joao Pedro can do that for Chelsea. He can also play as the number 9. Yes, he's not a number 9 that's going to get you 25, 30 goals. I hear that because he's never really done it before. But Joao Pedro is also a player that can play number 9. So you've got Nicholas Jackson. You've got Liam Delap. You've now got Joao Pedro. But for me, this deal is a good deal for Chelsea because you're getting a £50 million player that is 23 years of age. And ultimately, the big thing I've been banging on about for the last 18 months, 2 years, is sometimes, yeah, you want potential. Sometimes, yeah, you want to bring in big players from overseas. But sometimes, you've got Rice at home. Just get a Premier League proven player. And that's what Joao Pedro is. He's a Premier League proven player that's coming in from Brighton, been at them a few seasons now. And it's not like you can say he's not played in Europe either. Last year, I believe he was the top scorer or one of the top scorers, not this year, the year before, in the Europa League. 6 goals in 6 games. Last year in the Premier League, 10 goals, 6 assists, 27 games. That's not bad at all. That's 16 goal contributions in 27 games. And yeah, I hear it. Some of the comments are going to go, but 5 of those are penalties. You've still got to score the penalties. You still got to tuck it away. He still might have won some of them penalties as well. Season before that, 31 games in the league, 9 goals, 3 assists. So obviously, he's improved on that last year. He's taken on that responsibility, the mantelpiece at Brighton to say, I'm going to own it. I'm going to take the penalties. And that also shows the signs of a mentality player that wants to get better, wants to score goals, wants to contribute, wants to have that pressure, wants to absorb it. But he's South American. He's Brazilian. Just like what Cabri Sun looks like. Tropical. Joao Pedro's tropical. And guys, let's talk about it. Make sure you like the video as well. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, because Joao Pedro last season, when we look at it here, strikers per 90, key passes first, offensive duels first, through passes completed first, shot assists second, passes completed second, progressive passes second. This is over a whole season, by the way, per 90. So this is over a consistent period. You can see that Joao Pedro for Brighton was a key player. When they didn't quite have him, you could see that they were missing that sort of link. Danny Welbeck, by the way, done very well for Brighton. Obviously, an older player now, experience, come from Manchester United, Arsenal, and so forth. Danny Welbeck can't do it by himself. But when he had Joao Pedro there, it seemed to free up Danny Welbeck a bit because teams know they've got to mark Joao Pedro because he drops in the pockets. He's an intelligent player. He can drift out left, can drift out right. And he allowed Danny Welbeck to kind of be himself ultimately. And when Danny Welbeck weren't there, Joao Pedro played up top. And yes, Brighton might have lacked a bit of sharpness up top because I admit Joao Pedro is not really going to sit on the shoulder of a defender. He's not going to be really that type of player that's going to, be a Jamie Vardy on the last man. However, what you will get from Joao Pedro is that intelligence of bringing others into the game. He will make other players better around him because he absorbs that space. He makes defenders have to make a decision of whether you're going to go and transition and mark him and step up. Are you going to follow him as a midfielder? And that frees up the likes of maybe a Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, Madueke, Delap or Jackson, whoever it is. You've got to remember, by the way, Maresca's not going to be able to fit all of them on the football pitch. There's just no two ways about it. He's not going to be able to put all of them on a football pitch. But one thing he will be able to do is rotate, provide depth. And that's only going to help Chelsea because Chelsea are now back in the Champions League. Injuries do happen with the amount of games footballers are playing at the moment. All it takes is one injury to Delap and all of a sudden you're thinking I've only got Jackson as a striker. Well, no, you've got Joao Pedro now. Do you know what I mean? Madueke or Neto get injured. Okay, who we got as a winger? Or Sancho's not there now. Do you know what I mean? You're already thinking, we're a bit short. Number 10, creativity-wise, Cole Palmer, obviously a starter, the main guy, go-to guy for Chelsea Football Club, especially off the back of the 2 seasons ago. However, if Palmer gets injured, where's that link? Because look, we can throw out names like Joao Felix, Christopher Nkunku, and I don't have nothing against them. I just don't think it's worked for them in the Premier League. I think Nkunku would be better across Europe. And I think Joao Felix the same. Some players just don't have that in them to suit the Premier League, or should I say, get enough chances to prove if they can fit it in the Premier League or cut it in the Premier League. And that's just a question, unfortunately, we won't know. But unfortunately, it's probably looking like they're going to be moved on. So when you look at it, that's already a perfect playing card from Chelsea. Felix probably going to leave. Nkunku probably going to leave. Or one of the two are going to leave. And it's like, okay, how do we fill that void with someone who can play in the 10 and play out wide and play false 9? Joao Pedro. 50 million, 23 years of age, Brazilian international and Prem proven. You take him over Nkunku and you take him over Joao Felix. Chelsea has done well in the business market. Again. So that's how I see it. And, there's one game I really want to look at because Chelsea have been playing in the Club World Cup at the moment. And I believe, according to people, that Maresca changed the formation slightly and went with a bit of a 2 and a 2 in attack. Now, who's perfect for that? Mr. Joao Pedro. Mr. Joao Pedro. If you've got Delap or Jackson playing as the striker, and then you want to put someone like Pedro next to him who could make it more of a midfield, but also make it more of a front two. I always say front twos are something I grew up on back in the day, and they worked to perfection. They caused teams all sorts of problems. And when teams have done it in today's game, at times, it has caused teams problems because they're not used to it. It's very technical. The ball's played on the ground and, there's not much crosses coming into the box and stuff. And defenders are not as old school in terms of their rugged defending. You get a few that love it, but not all. And if you have Delap and Pedro, they could link up well. Palmer linking up behind them. This is what it could also provide Chelsea with, an option to have 2 up top. Pedro Delap, Pedro Jackson. Doesn't matter which one, because Pedro is that type of player who's a link man striker. You always have 2 type of strikers. One that's going to probably be on the end of things, getting the goals, the scrappy ends. And you're going to have one who links everything together, who can drop in at times, who's going to play the assists, who's going to be unselfish. That is Mr. Joao Pedro. So this is already a formation that Enzo Maresca could look at and say, right, I've got now the profiles to do this, because we know Enzo Fernandez is better going more forward and advanced in midfield, arriving late into the box. We saw that a couple of times last season. We know Palmer likes to play off the striker and link with players anyway. Gives and goes, 1-2s, running on. And then you've got Caicedo And it could be whoever. Lavia, perfect. Let's go with Lavia because Santos is not going to start. Lavia and Caicedo sitting there. That's just one option that Maresca has now with Pedro, playing him in a front two. And then when you also look at it as well with Joao Pedro, he has the ability to play off the left. He can play in the 10 and he can play out wide on the right. Now, I look at his two positions in the midfield of being a 10 when Cole Palmer's potentially rotated. You know, you've got Champions League midweek against teams he might beat. He's like, Palmer, you know what? Stay fresh for the league game. Or you might have a big Champions League game in the week. Play Pedro on the weekend in the 10 role. And ultimately, I do feel like this is going to make other players have to step up. They're going to have to step up because, you know, you look at Chelsea's attack now, and they've got numbers, by the way. They've got numbers in there now. You've got Pedro Neto, Delap, Estavio coming in, Palmer, Jamie Byron Gittins. You've got Jackson, Madueke, and now Joao Pedro. I look at Joao Pedro as well, and I think, do you know what? He could take one of them starting berths on the wing. There's no reason why he can't start on the left because I don't think Pedro Neto or Madueke have nailed it down. Jamie Byron, obviously, Gittins is going to come in, and he's probably going to look to nail down that position, which is going to be interesting to see what happens with the other wingers. Estavio, obviously, is a creative winger as well. He likes to cut inside. He's going to be more featured on the right-hand side. So Chelsea are really looking like they're transforming their attack. It's quite exciting. I know the big question is that, yes, they're unproven together. Some of them are Premier League proven, but not put up big numbers. And some of them are coming with high potential. And that, like, wow, where's their ceiling? You don't know. But I kind of feel like that's exciting because what Chelsea are building is a team for now, but a team for the future as well. And Maresca is going to build and grow with them. And I just feel like Pedro probably actually, as a 23-year-old Premier League proven player, adds a bit more experience to their team. I know he's not experienced in terms of age, but he's actually experienced in terms of the Premier League. So I'm really intrigued to see now how this is going to fit with these attackers because there is a lot of them. There is a lot of them. I don't know if some players might say they want to move now. Obviously, Felix and Kuku, I've already said about them and they're not included in this. But other players, one or two of them, I don't know if Jackson might think about a loan. I think he'll stay. Madueke, I think he'll stay. I think they've just got to, bite the bullet and fight for their places. And it's healthy competition. It's good competition. This is what you need at elite football clubs, especially if you want to be winning trophies and competing for cups and leagues. I think this is a good move for Chelsea. I do. I think Joao Pedro is going to come in. He's going to have a bit of that nastiness about him. He's going to have that grit. You know, we can see it on the pitch. You know, he's not ashamed to get stuck in, fight for the badge. It's been reported that he only wanted Chelsea. And Chelsea, you've got your man. You've got your man. I don't know about the negatives yet on Joao Pedro. I think it's one of them ones I've got to look at and assess how it goes because I think when you look at the players around him and the players he's coming into, I think it can really work for him. It's just whether he's going to get enough game time. But I think, like I said, with Europe and stuff, I think he will get enough game time. How Maresca is going to make it all work when it comes to the big games and finding your best starting 11, well, we're going to see. We're going to find out, because the Premier League is going to be starting in nearly 6 weeks' time. So there's not going to be long now. But Joao Pedro to Chelsea, 23 years of age, 50 million upwards, I think is a good move for Chelsea. I think the Premier League proven 23-year-old package and the ability to play in 3 different positions, or even 4 if you want to put the right-hand side in it, left, cam, right, up top. It gives Chelsea very good weapons to have, especially in a long season. But guys, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you on the other side.